Okay, guys. Okay, we are about at that 8:30 mark. Just a couple quick things that I wanted to mention here before we get started today. So I do still have, obviously, that freebie trade, the debit put spread that I got into, again, I don't even remember, Wednesday or something like that. And so just a couple of comments on this. Number one, obviously, it's profitable. Number two, it's a free trade. Number three, I've got 8 days left till expiration on that trade. Number four, the trend is still overall down in the marketplace. And if you look at this trade here, if you understand risk graphs, of course, this line right here, that's at expiration, right? That would be where we are at expiration. But this little, I guess you could call that orange or pink, that orange line, that's where we're at theoretically right now. And so you can see that ramps nicely here. Even though we're still, that little flag right there, that's where we're at in the marketplace. Even though we're still out of the money on this debit put spread, I'm nicely profitable on that. And you know, this is what's cool about freebie trades, right? Like, I just took my profits from some of my trades on Wednesday to buy this. And it's got $6,700 of profit in it if we can finish here or below, if we can finish below that 31.55. So that's still 100 points away. All right, you're not seeing my screen? You guys, Drake, you can see the screen. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure, Scott, what's happening there. So yeah, we are 100 points away, but let's keep in mind that just today, right now, we're down 50 points, right? We're down 51 points. So that could be a really, really nice kicker. But yeah, for those of you that are either wondering what I'm doing with that position or wondering what my thought process is on that, you know, right now it's sitting at a nice profit, right? And I love these trades because if there's ever a trade that you're not emotional about, right, it's this trade because it's basically a free trade. All I put into it was some of my profits from a previous trade. So yeah, so I'm going to probably be continuing to hold that. We look here to put our first trade in today, and again, obviously the trend is pretty easy to determine right here what the trend is, right? One of the things that I would just say again is you kind of have to get a sense of what's happening in the marketplace or what is driving the marketplace. And as you probably know, with my Twitter trade yesterday was just it was the mother of all tech earnings announcements, right? We had all of these companies. We had Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Google and Facebook, all these Twitter, all these companies coming out with earnings. And the market is always a market that is a forward-looking mechanism. So the market is a forward-looking mechanism. It doesn't really care. We assume with modern portfolio theory that whatever is currently happening in a company is already currently reflected in that stock's price. And so what the market really is concerned about is the future, right? What is coming down the road. And so that gets confusing for a lot of traders when you see companies, and almost all of these companies, almost every one of these tech giants yesterday reported earnings or results that were, if not better than expected, at least they were better than the previous year's quarter, right? Which the previous year's quarter did not include the virus. So you would think that on the whole that's healthy and everything is improving, but the reality is that almost every single one of these companies, almost every single one of them said, yeah, things came in quite nicely this quarter, but they are revising down for the next quarter. And or in the case of companies like Apple has just simply completely removed guidance. They've just completely pulled guidance. They've said, we don't feel, I mean, this is their excuse, right? We don't feel it's appropriate in this virus-related, pandemic-related world that we live in to even try to pretend that we know what next quarter is going to look like. And so they use that as an excuse to not even tell you where the business is headed in the future. And so we've got this sort of buy on the rumor, sell on the news, where these are all coming down, with the exception, obviously, of Google. I'm going to put Netflix in there too. Netflix is another good example. We had this nice pop. We had this great pop on Netflix with the news that they were going to raise subscriber fees, which obviously is good for their bottom line, and it just gave it right back. It just gave it right back. So there's not a real driver right now in this market to the upside. So what does that mean for us on our trade today? Well, I am, again, just for FYI purposes, guys, I will be trading the SPX today. So again, for those of you that are new, or just as a refresher, if you're trading, if you have less than $25,000, that's absolutely fine. Had somebody, I forget who it was, on Wednesday's trade that traded $320. That was their total capital that they had to trade with, and I think they just traded one contract, but it worked out great for them, right? So if you're trading less than 25,000, that's absolutely fine. Just remember, you've got to trade the E-mini futures contracts so that you don't hit the PDT rules, and so you're going to be gauging off of the deltas that we use on the SPX. So obviously the trend today is down, decidedly down, and so because of that, I told you guys a few weeks ago as we were talking about this that there's going to be days where they're five delta trades, and we're hoping and praying throughout the day to not have to make an adjustment, right? Because 5 delta trades are what everybody loves and what everybody gets excited about. Guys, they're the hardest trade to control because, you know, just like almost any credit trade, the minute you put that trade on, you're going to be upside down, right? You got fees, commissions, and spreads that you got to account for. So the minute we put the trade on, we're going to be down. It's going to be hours and hours and hours into the day before that theta starts to kick in. And if we have any type of a directional movement, there's not much wiggle room that we can allow for on a 5 delta trade. But of course, it's a high probability trade, right? So those are not bad trades, but I don't think that today is a day for one of those. I am going to go a little bit more aggressive today, and I am going to start on the call leg. So I'm looking at calls right now, guys, at the 3,300 mark. That's a 13 delta. That's a little bit more aggressive than what we would normally do. And I'm looking at a $10 spread. So the 3,300 level on the calls and $10 spread on that. I've got I think I've got about 70,000 that I could commit to this trade, but I've got a couple of other little trades that I'm looking at today also. So I'm maybe going to try to cap that around 50 or 60,000. So I'm probably going to start around 30,000. Again, my numbers don't necessarily matter to you. It's obviously just giving you a little bit of idea of how I'm looking to scale into the day, right? So right now, NAP price is $1.05 on those. Mid price is $1.25. 30,000 would bring in about 4,000 in profit or credit premium. We should more appropriately call that credit or premium, right? It isn't profit yet. And so I'm going to try to get that 125. I'm going to start at 125 at least, and see what I can do, how I can work that in. It looks like I'm a little ways off. I'm going to replace that order. Try 115. And I thought I was close. The market was helping us there a little bit. We had a little bit of an uptick, but I'm still off on that. I am still off, and we're still trending down. I don't want to chase it too badly. There's 105. and I'm not too far off there. So I might just be patient here and see if I can get a little bit of an uptick and get that 105. Yeah, Vin, that debit trade is, you don't want to do it now, A, because it was a free trade, right? That's a directional trade. It needs to move down for that trade to make money. So you don't want to do debit trades unless it's free money. That was a free money trade. I just took profit from my profits on Wednesday to buy that. Number two, it's already in the profits. So yeah, it's too late on that. We're continuing to move down here. And so I'm moving away from my price here. And I don't know that I necessarily want to chase that too much. So I might just let this sit, guys, and you know, if it hits in the next 5 or 10 minutes, that's fine. If it doesn't, we'll come back and we'll reset that. So I'm gonna just let this sit here for just a minute. Joey, you got to fill at 105? Holy smoke. That's a good fill. That is a really good fill. I'm not even close right now. Obviously, as you can see, mid price is in the 70-cent range, and I'm still asking 105. Yeah, those are good fills. Oh, Tom, it was Tom that got the fill. Okay, Joey. Yeah, we're going to need a little bit of a rebound for this order to even get close to filling now. A birthday fill. Yeah, that was a really good fill. Like, you could be out right now if you did that. If you position size that with a lot of money, you could be out of that trade right now at a nice profit and be done for the day. Yeah, you're up 30% already? Yeah, nice. Good for you. We're trying to get a little bit of an uptick here. You know, this is the hardest part of trading well, right? Like, we want to trade well. We want to, you know, again, in baseball terminology, not have a lot of unforced errors. And you always sort of, you know, it's tough right now at the moment, but you always just kick yourself at the end of a trading day where, you know, you had 6-7 hours, right? You had 6 or 7 hours to work your trades, get a good trading position in, and you couldn't sit for 5 minutes. You could not sit for 5 minutes, and you pushed a trade. That's what I ended up doing with my Twitter trade. Yeah, I made 5,500 bucks, which incidentally, guys, I did videotape the whole Twitter trade front to back. And so I just put that up on my YouTube channel this morning. So yeah, that was great that I made 5,500 bucks. It could have been 8,500 bucks if I would have just waited and been patient yesterday on getting my fill. So 80-cent mid price right now. I'm still sitting at that 105 price trying to get a fill. Going to need a decent uptick here to get that to fill. But we've got time, so I'm going to let that run. I don't know if patience is a virtue or not. I guess it is. We're bouncing around here. We're bouncing around here. I mean, that's so awesome. You guys that caught that, man, you know, that's the sweetest day, right? Is in and out in like 10-15 minutes. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. We're pushing up higher now. So you can see it's moving there. I'm still a ways away, 90-cent mid price, and I'm asking 105. But it's pushing now. It's pushing now. So I think I'll get a fill here shortly. Or at least I'm closer to getting a fill. Way too early for put legs yet, Chris. Way too early for puts. There's so much day left in the day. There's the fill. So I'm in at 105, guys, on my call side. Let me take a snapshot of that, put that in the trade room. Okay, first leg is in. Let's see what. Yeah, I put it in. I put it in erroneously. I put it in the trade room in the trade channel as a 10 delta. It's actually an 11 delta right now, but it looks like we're coming back down just a little bit here. So it would be approximately a 10 delta here if we keep coming down. So there's the first leg in, guys. A lot of dry powder still left. A lot of days still left in the day, right? I've got a lot of position sizing that I can still scale in here on the call side. Obviously, we haven't done anything with the put side yet. So I'm going to sit and watch for a while and see if we continue to add to the call side or have an opportunity to start legging into the put side. But right now, I think we're pretty well positioned. Yeah, we're at our 9:30 hour here, sort of looking for that next entry. Our call side looks strong right now. We're already at a 40% gain, Alex, as you mentioned. But I don't know that I'm ready to put in a put leg here yet. And I don't know that I want to put in another call leg here yet either. So we're sitting at a nice profit right now. I'm probably going to sit here for just a little bit and see if we can get a little bit more directional movement on the trend. I would like to see a little bit more of a downward move and put a put leg in, but I'm not adverse to adding right now to the call leg as well. So we'll just see here, but I think we need a little bit more passage of time. Yeah, Viking, the IV is still good. It's still one of those nice days that, you know, we could wait all the way up until 2 hours before the market closed, right? And still have a nice potential credit that we could get on a trade that would make sense. So yeah, $1,400 of profit on that free trade. And again, you know, I have to reiterate, this is a free trade, right? Like, this is a free trade. That's just wonderful. Up $1,400 on it right now, but the profit potential on it is huge, right? $6,700 is the profit potential on it. And we are not that far away. 31.50, well, yeah, 31.55 is what it would need to be below. So 90 points from where we're at today, 90 points from where we're at, 7 days left to expiration on that. And all of the indicators right now are down, right? So yeah, It's looking good. It's looking good. P. Joe, I can't pull those down because they're onto this other computer here that's up above me. I'm working on that. I'm trying to work on, again, some different camera angles maybe. And we'll get some different screens going here. So we're working on it. Yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself in for, Z-Man, when I threw that little tiny video clip out to you guys a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, would 5 or 10 of you guys be interested in trading alongside of me?" And now here we are. Okay, guys, I'm looking at now starting to dip into the put leg here. I'm going to do an equal quantity of what I have up here on the call side. I have 35 contracts on the call side with a $10 spread, and it's still sitting at a 10 delta there on the call side. I'm looking at entering at a 7 delta. On the put side, nat price is 30 cents, mid price is around 40. So I'm going to try to get 35 cents on this. This would bring me in about $1,000. So I'm going to send that at 35 cents. And I get a fill at 36 cents on that. Brings in a little over $1,000. That's a 7 delta. So I'm going to go ahead and put that trade now into our trade channel. Okay, I'm in now. Yeah, Wendy, that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. If you missed the calls, now we're working on puts. So that's 3185. 3185. I'm going to put that in on the chart. Go down a ways here. There's the 3185. And again, if I look at it in the curve, obviously I've got that kicker in there, right? I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out just so that we have a little bit better view there. So there we go. That's kind of where we're sitting right now. And got a lot of dry powder at this point. Got a lot of dry powder. I'm only 50% invested in terms of, well, let's see. I got to make a note here on what I brought in on the calls because I got to keep track of this. Put, or what I brought in on the puts. Brought in about $1,100 premium on the puts. So right now I'm sitting at about $4,600 of premium that I brought in on this trade. it's showing almost a $5,000 profit there. That's obviously not counting my commissions. So we're sitting pretty good right now. I've got a lot of buying power still left. Drag, let's see, what percentage would you consider good for dry powder? 50% is great, 30% is kind of necessary. So I think I had 70,000 total that I could commit to this trade, but I kind of want to hold about 10,000 of that in reserve for another couple of trades that I'm looking at later today. So I started with about 30,000. Okay, guys, just kind of in a sit and wait mode here for a while. So we got to watch this. There's a strong couple candles coming in here, so calls are right back up to where we sold them at. There we go. Yeah, so we just have a little bit of upward bias here for this last 35 minutes. If that continues unabated, the first thing would be to fill in some more put legs. So first, before we do any adjusting on the call legs, it would be to fill in the put legs. There we go. I'm going to come in around the 9 delta area here. So that would be about the 32.15 level. 32.15, and I'm not going to go all the way in on this. I'm just going to do 10 contracts on this, and you know I have about 30,000 of remaining buyer power, and I'm using up 9,000 of it. So I'm just going to go a little light here on this. Mid price is around 50 cents on this, 60 cents now. I'm going to try and, well, I'm going to leave it at mid price. I'm going to leave it at mid price at 50 cents. That feels right away for me at 50 cents. So that's another 500 bucks for me. That puts me at about 5,100 in premium on the trade. And I'm going to go ahead and log those puts activity-wise into the trade tab. Okay, so that's where we're sitting right now. Still not delta neutral by any means, right? Still pushing up against our calls here. So we may have to do something again here pretty quickly, but we'll watch it here for just a little bit. Okay, so we are, what, 3 hours into the trading day, kind of about 2 hours into our trading session, about 3 hours away from our exit point. So, man, we're almost halfway through the day, guys, already. That's kind of crazy. Not perfectly equidistant right now, but pretty darn close, pretty well positioned right now. I'm sitting on about $5,100 of premium here. And so, again, we've got decent IV today. I've got a lot of my buying power still left. I've still got $25,000 of buying power left. Plus, I've got some pricing power on the call side. I've got the ability to add some calls, obviously, with not affecting my buying power. So I think all in all right now, for basically being halfway into the trading day, guys, we're really, really well positioned. Really well positioned. Pretty close to equidistant, pretty close to our delta neutral that we want to be at. Lots of dry powder still left, lots of flexibility still left, sitting on a lot of premium. I mean, if I finish today up 5,100 bucks, that would be awesome. That would be tremendous, right? By the way, I just sent somebody out a $50 gift card on Amazon. Thank you for using the referral link on the Tastyworks. So just again, you know, who knows? I don't know. We're fairly equidistant right now, but almost the 11 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll see where we're at maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes from now, and see if I can either fill in that pulled leg and or add to the call side. Okay guys, it's 11 o'clock Mountain Time. 2.5 hours left in our trading session, 3 hours left in the day before the cash close. And this is where we're sitting right now. I'm going to go ahead here and, you know, what I am seeing on my indicators, what I'm seeing on my charts is stabilization and buying. Now that's not necessarily being reflected in the candlesticks yet. It's certainly not being reflected in the price, in the fact that we're down 51 points on the S&P. But I am going to go ahead here and I'm going to add again to some of my put leg down here on the bottom. So I'm going to come here on my table. I'm going to go to these closest term ones that I have, which now are showing an 11 delta. Okay, so this is the 32.15s that I'm looking at, and I'm going to add to those. So if I look at that in the curve here, you can see as I ramp these number of contracts up, I'm going to go to 10. You can see what that does to the risk curve there, just kind of balancing out our risk once again. So that would be about a $9,000 trade for me, bringing in about $700. It shows a 70-cent. It shows a 70-cent mid price with a 60-cent nap price. Well, it's bouncing around now, 75. Somewhere in there. I'm going to start at 75. And we'll see. I get the 75 cents. Okay, I get the 75 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and put that trade right there into our trade tab. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm not. I don't know if I'm lazy today. I feel maybe I'm a little lazy today. Because I'm not working my trades as well as you guys are. But nevertheless, we're filled there. And now, so now I've got, again, this is for me, I've got 55 contracts down on the put side, 35 contracts on the call side. So I obviously have some buying power that I can work with there on the call side. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. So we'll just wait here a little bit, maybe another 30, 40 minutes. And then kind of see if I can balance this out. I obviously would love to put another 20 contracts or so there on the call side to balance out, optimize my buying power, right? Okay, so I am looking at sort of filling out my call leg here. It's about 11, almost 11:20 Mountain Time. Um, so just about 2 hours left in our trading session. Trying to capture a little bit more theta. Trying to balance myself out, just maybe a little bit here in the trade. And I'm looking at the 7 deltas. That's 32.95 on the SPX and 33.05, so $10 spread. 7 deltas is what I'm looking at. 20 contracts, that would balance out both sides of my trade. Mid price right now is about 55 cents. I'm going to try the 55. Looks like I'm a little off on that. I'm going to replace that. Come down to 50. It's showing the mid price now at 45, so I might be off on my pricing here. But it does look like we got a green candle right now trying to bounce just a little bit. So I'm going to be patient on this. I'm going to see if I can be patient on this. Try to get that 50-cent fill. Still off on my pricing there. I'm going to be patient on that, guys. I'm going to leave my price at 50 cents and just see if we can get a bounce here. If not, I'll lower it. I don't have any compunction lowering that, but I'd like to get the 50 cents. We're trying to get a green candle here. I saw a mid price. There's my mid price of 50 cents once again. Obviously, it's not filling for me. You got filled. You guys, okay? On ES, you got filled. Okay. I'm still probably 5 cents away. Well, 10 cents away now. No, you're good, Daryl. Okay, that one little candle bump right there, that little jump, and I'm in. I'm filled at 50 cents. So let me just input this, and then we'll see where we're at on an overall position. Looks like a lot of you guys are getting filled too. Alrighty, there we go. So updating where I'm at. I'm sitting at $6,700 of credit so far, net of commissions on the day. I add that into my $5,500 of profit on Twitter. Could be a good day. Could be a good day. Dave, you're asking why not wait for a better fill? That's what I did. I did wait for a better fill. I wasn't impatient on that. I put it at the highest fill that we could probably get for that leg and waited for it. I mean, if you're trying to catch the highs and the lows of the day, right, you'll never trade. At this point, we're at the 11:30 hour Mountain Time. 2 hours left in our trading session. You're running out of trading time. You're running out of theta. This right now is where that race, well, we're not quite there. You know, we're maybe 40 minutes away. But that's when the race for the time crunch starts happening. Yeah, you can balance it out, Wendy. Just be careful that, you know, see, you can see my position here on my screen. You can see how I've legged into here on the put side. So yeah, I have as many contracts. Let me remove this. I have as many contracts here on the call side as I have on the put side, but I'm taking way less risk on the put side, right? Because of the way that I have them laddered in there. Let me open this up again. Just cracked through that $4,000 level of profit, of open profit for the day. That's obviously, again, a little skewed here because I have that debit spread, right? And that debit spread right now is obviously helping me. If I look at that, let me add that back in. I just want to add that back in for a second because we're in the money, right? We're in the money on that one leg right there. So you're really going to start, if we start coming down here now, look at that graph. We're really going to start ramping the profits here if we continue to come down here. So that's acting as a very, very nice hedge against our other 0 day to expiration date positions. I like it. I like it. I'm going to leave that in. Well, no, I'm going to pull that out because not all of you guys are trading that debit spread. And I don't want it to be reflective of what we're just doing just today. Yeah, I'll say that again. So 12:15 time, about an hour away, a little more than an hour away from the time that we look to shut everything down. Obviously looking pretty equidistant right now. No action needed, really. I'm pushing up against that $5,000 profit level, and that leaves me with about 1,700 or something like that. 1,700 of extrinsic value still in the trade. So hopefully I can capture a little bit more of that, and hopefully we don't have too big of a movement here, right? Going into this last hour or so of our trading. So I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, guys, I'm watching this 3240 level that we're at right now, this 3240 level on the SPX. Let me bring this over in here, kind of show you what we're looking at here. Let this take a second here to populate. Okay, so we've been down here once, kind of twice, thrice. We've been down here 3 times. This is the 4th time that we've been down to this level. And so we're watching this candle right now at about, well, let's move this out of the way so that we can, that's the E-minis right there. That's the futures. We're looking right around this 3240 level that we're sitting at right now. I want to see that we can hold that. If we can hold that, obviously we're good. Just going forward, no action needed. If we break substantively below that, I'm going to start taking off my first set of puts down here. So I got 20 contracts down here. I've still got a lot of theta. I was just looking at this here. in my position, up about 4 grand on the day. But I was just looking at this. Here's one of my call legs. So, you know, I've got almost $300 of value, extrinsic value, still sitting in that one. I've got $300 of value sitting in this one. So I've got $600 of extrinsic value still in my call legs. And then obviously the bulk, the remainder of it here in the put legs. So we're just kind of sitting here right now watching this 3240 level. We've got a little tiny green candle right here. But in fact, I'm probably going to load up. I'm going to go ahead just preemptively and load up a closing order for these puts that are my closest ones right here. So I'll go to my positions. It's these right here. It's the 3215s and the 3205s. I'm going to load that trade up. Nap price right now is around, bouncing around, or excuse me, mid price bouncing around $1.40. So I've got that locked and loaded here if we need to take action. Sort of a false move for right now. We're back up off that 3240 level, around the 3245 level. You can see our mid price on this trade now has come way down to 90 cents. So again, just, you know, we're only 4 or 5 points away here. We're talking about an SPX that is down 65 points. And we've got a trigger that is only about 4 points away. So it's close, right? It's close. We want to keep an eye on it. But again, this is 3 or 4 times now. I'll try to bring this over again. It takes a while to populate when we're putting it into the Zoom. But this is 3 or 4 times now today that we have pushed down to this level and held it and bounced back up. Now, it remains to be seen yet. Whether that's going to take place again, right? But it is interesting that we've got a green candle there once again, taking us sort of out of harm's way there with that particular trade. So we'll just keep an eye on this. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull that first put leg. It looks like we're just continuing to trend down. I've got a lot of extra theta still sitting in my other positions here. Let's see if I can get a little bounce here if this continues to sell off. I'd like to get up. Again, pricing is pretty good at this at 32.40. And we're at 32.28 right now. But there's a whole lot more sells coming in than buys. So I don't know if we can get a little bit of a bounce here or not. I'm holding on it here still. You know, we don't have any real, there's no real acceleration here to the downside, but it is definitely moving down. So back above 32.40, just sitting right in there. It would be nice to not have to reposition that put leg. But I wouldn't mind it. I don't feel like this sell-off is really accelerating into the latter part of the day here. So I would not have an issue really pulling those sets of puts that we've got there and repositioning them down a little bit lower. We'll just continue to watch here, guys. As long as we can kind of hang out here at this 32.40 level on the SPX, we're fine. So whether or not we hold that, that's another story, but that's where we're at right now. So just kind of watch and see mode. This is recording here. This is one thing that I just wanted to point out to you guys here. And, you know, we didn't do it so much here on the call leg, but we did a little bit. You can see that little defense there, you know, where it's not a normal iron condor that goes straight down. The line doesn't go straight down, right? This is one of the reasons that we like to leg into trades. And why I wasn't so worried about these positions right in here. In fact, let me just remove the cells cue there so that you can look at it a little bit better. That's why I wasn't necessarily so concerned with these positions right here. Simply because, yeah, there's your in the money portion, right? There's your in the money portion, but we're profitable all the way down to here. And that's largely because of this leg right here. So I think it was maybe Monday of this week. I don't remember anymore the days, but we had that scenario where we have sort of legged into different positions, and one of our short legs was very close to getting in the money, or maybe was already in the money, and you guys were all panicked and I didn't do anything about it. Yeah, that one particular leg might have been in the money or close to being in the money, but the overall trade was still profitable. And so, you know, I see comments today, I see comments all the time, oh, if I close this leg, I will close it at a loss. Because the only thing I have to say to you is, who cares? How is that relevant to anything with regards to our overall, over the entire day results, right? We're always closing. It seems like every day we're moving in and out of one or two legs at a loss. The point is that the overall trade remains as delta neutral as we can be, and it remains profitable on the end of the day, right? So it's interesting. You guys know I trade a bunch. I've got 20 to 40 positions open on any normal given day. There's not a single day. There is not a single day where I don't have one trade, one position that loses me 5 or 10 grand. Every day. Every single day. But overall for the day, I want to be up 10 to 15 grand net profits on the day, right? So you got to look at the trade holistically. You've got to look at the entire trade rather than freaking out about one tiny specific leg of a trade. We're about 35 minutes out now before looking at closing some stuff down. I'm solidly now above 5 grand for the day. I'm up about 5,200 on my open positions. No, yeah, up about 5,200 on my open positions, up about 5,400 for the day. That's obviously including that debit leg that I've got going on. Today's trade is I am now at 55K smart home. So I don't know if you logged on with us this morning, but every morning I get on, I will walk through with you how much capital I have to allocate to the trade and how much I'm going to start with. Not that that's really relevant to you per se, but it gives you an idea of how I am going to scale into the trade. So today, I actually had about 70 grand in capital set aside for the trade, but I wanted to keep maybe 10,000 of that in reserve for a couple of other trades that I'm looking at still doing here today. In fact, I need to go jump to the other computer and look at those because I'm running out of time. But anyway, 60 to 70 grand was what I had set aside to trade today, and I started to, I can't even remember, you guys will probably remember better than me, I think it was 30 or 35K. I started legging in with about 30 or 35K of that. And here we are pretty much at the end of our day, and I was able to scale up to about 55,000 of the 60 to 70 that I wanted to work with. So that's one of the biggest, and if you're new here, that's one of the biggest challenges. That is one of the biggest challenges with trying to trade alongside me is having that dry powder, right, Brian? Having the dry powder, being able to adjust those trades. So often everybody goes in whole hog right up front, and then you are doing stop losses, right? Which I hate. You're stopping a loss. You're getting kicked out of a trade at a loss. And you don't have any ability to leverage up. So scaling in small throughout the day even if you give up a little bit of profit at the end of the day, it's prudent. I love that word. We want to, as traders, we want to make prudent decisions. Yeah, Jan, that's the other. I don't know that I maybe I don't know that I maybe illustrated this as well as I should. I just told you guys yesterday not to do my Twitter trade, but I didn't really go into great detail as to why I didn't want you to do it. And the reason was twofold. Number one, I did a naked strangle. I just sold some naked calls and I sold some naked puts. And number two, I have a portfolio margin account that I did that in that would allow me the margin. It would allow me the flexibility if I needed to roll those positions down week over week. Okay, so I think that my put leg on that Twitter trade was at 42. I could have rolled that down at almost no cost all the way down to 38. I wouldn't have been able to have that luxury if it wasn't a portfolio margin account. So yeah, I don't, guys, again, I don't care. We had somebody on Monday, or excuse me, on Wednesday of this week, this week, Wednesday of this week. We had one of you that did a ES trade. You did a futures trade with $240. That's how much you traded with, was $240. That was the total amount that you had. So you can scale even $1,000. Is it harder to scale $1,000 than it is, 100,000? Of course it is. It absolutely is, for sure. It's harder, but you can still scale your trades. And yeah, you're right, Dave. I mean, it's a binary trade, right? So many of these zero data expiration trades are, here's where the iron condor is. We're going to put a call spread in up here. We're going to put a put spread in down here. And it works or it doesn't, right? And you just get blown out of these trades because you don't have the ability or you don't have the knowledge to scale. Scott, it shouldn't. This is a multi-trillion-dollar volume vehicle. This is probably the most liquid thing on the stock market today. So it would be nice to think that you and I, with our 50 grand, 100 grand, 500 grand, it'd be nice to think that you and I are moving the markets, but we really don't. We really don't. We're a grain of sand on the beaches of the ocean. So we're back down, guys. We're back down to this 34. No, Jan, they do not have paper trading in Tastyworks. Yeah, I mean, MSCAL's profit's profit, right? You get into that last little bit of theta here. We get that nice little candle that works for us, showing, well, it just popped above 7 grand, showing 6,400 now. Profit on the day. I'd have to figure what I've got theta wise here still. Let's take a look. So there's one of my call legs. Is 70, 80 bucks there. 70, 80 bucks left in that call leg. And 100 bucks left in that call leg. So maybe 170 bucks still left in my call legs. And then my put legs, of course, that's where most of the profits are. 1,300 bucks still left there. So what is that? Maybe $1,500 total so far, and then another maybe 150 there. 1,600 bucks left maybe. So I could get above $7,000 on the day. Showing 6,400 now. I could get well above 7,000. Depending on what I got to do here, right? Depending on whether or not I've got to close out these puts. Right now, again, looking at the 32.40 level, we're at 32.46. So really safe right now. We'll just watch this here. It's about 1:11, 1:13 Mountain Time. About another 20 minutes, we want to start looking at exiting stuff. We're just a little less than 15 minutes away, and it's approaching that $7,000 figure. I don't know why that's so important to me. 6,800 should be fine, but I'd like to get out above 7 grand. Yeah, don't let the profit slip away, right, Jan? You cannot do that. I've still got that put trade loaded up. So I sold those puts, the ones that are closest. I sold those for a 50-cent credit. And where'd it go? There it is. Mid price on them right now is 40 cents, 35, 40 cents. So I'm feeling pretty good about them right now, getting out of them in a nice profit. But yeah, it's you know it's going to get crazy in the next 45 minutes. We got 45 minutes to the close. You know that where we're at right now, you know that's where we're not going to be in 45 minutes, right? Like, you know it's going to go crazy. So just be prepared for your exits, guys. Be prepared for your exits. Recording again here. There's some definite advantages to taking off this put leg. This would extend our risk graph way, way, way down here. It would make me feel a lot more comfortable about letting these puts just expire completely worthless. Let me just look quickly at those puts. Let's look at those 35 contracts that I've got there. See, there is still value there. You know, there's about $80 or so of extrinsic value still sitting in those, and then I'd have to pay to get out of them, right? Let's just look at what that would cost. If I want to close those 35 contracts, it's going to cost me $55 in fees. So it's not inconsequential, and I would love to be able to leave those legs alone. And I feel pretty good about being able to leave those legs alone. But pulling these put legs, that would do quite a bit to give me some safety on the downside, right? Not so much on the calls. I don't have a lot of differentiation here between my legs. So I would start, if I felt like I needed to pull the call legs here in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I would start with this leg right here. I would start with my 20 contracts that I have at 32.95 and 33.05, and I would leave the other ones up at 3,300, and we'd have to have a pretty sizable move here. Doesn't mean it won't happen, of course, but we'd have to have a pretty sizable move to threaten those. So, you know, we're 10-15 minutes out before we make that decision. Right now, obviously, very nicely centered in our trade, right? And I am up above 7 grand now, profit for the day. 6,900 in my open position, 7,200 total so far. So, yeah, that's it. That plus the Twitter trade plus my other trades today, it's about a $23,000 day so far. You only need one $23,000 day a week, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Unless you have really crazy taste. Unless you're flying private. If you're flying private, you may need more. But there's my son getting out of a BA trade, or at least trying to get out. There he goes. I always forget to restart the video. Just showing just shy of 7 grand on the day. I'm going to load up those puts just because that's what we're closest to right now. To look to potentially close those. Again, this 32.40 level is really sort of a critical level. The reality is I should probably close them right now if I could get a mid price of 40 cents. I sold them for 50 cents. But we're holding this level okay. We're holding okay. But that's going to be the first leg that I'm going to look to unwind, is that put leg. So we're below the 32.40 once again. Once again. This seems like the 5th time that we're below 32.40. Mid price on that's now jumped up to 75 cents. Obviously, it would have been prudent for me to get out below my 50 cent cost basis on that. But the sell-off's not really accelerating. We are, what, 23 minutes out before the close. And so I'm going to watch that here. I was willing at one point to spend $1.40 to get out on those. So I guess at 75 cents I can continue to sit on it here. It does look like most of you guys are out so far. EL29, my son's 16. He's 16 years old. Yeah, Wendy, especially you where you're heavy on that trade, where you did not do the call side, you should have probably pulled that. But again, it's not accelerating dramatically. Let me pull the chart over for you so that you can take a look at that. Let's let it open up. There we go. So, you know, again, we're coming back down to this level here, which is it's actually well above our strike prices, but it's really starting to bite into profits now if we let that continue to slide, right? I'm still showing about $6,800, $6,900, 7 grand. I'm still around that 7 grand profit on the day. That's obviously just because we're running out of day, right? We've only got 21 minutes of theta left in the day. Back at a mid price closer to my cost basis. So, you know, and again, back up above 32.40, right? We're back above the 32.40 level. So it's just wait and see now, guys. It's just wait and see. If you're in it with me, it's just a wait and see mode. It's getting close. And I fill at 25 cents. So I get added a 25 cent debit on that. That's still showing me up 7,500, I believe, 7,500 on the day, 6,400 on the open positions. I'm not, if you guys are okay with that, I'm not going to even put that in the trade tab, just because we're getting to the end of the day, and that may very well be our last trade of the day. No, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to put it in so you guys have a full record of what we did. What he keeps doing on BA. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Tom. So let's come back to the, what am I doing here? Let's come back to this analyses tab here. And let me just make sure I've got my, yeah, those are, the debit trade is removed. So now you can see where we're at with the rest of the trades. and let me just see what I've got left theta wise. Let's examine that first, right, before we do anything else. So there's one. Whoops. There's one call leg. Nothing left in that call leg. This call leg, nothing left in that call leg. So the put leg, maybe $100. So I've got maybe $100 more potential profit in this, but I would spend probably $200 exiting all of these positions. So $100 extra dollars on that, that puts me over 7,200. Well, be over 7,300 it looks like now on the day on that trade. And right now it looks like I don't need to do anything. I'm about 16 minutes out of the close. Again, remember guys, if you are trading the E-minis, you got to exit. And there's a lot of BH stuff going through. If you are trading the E-minis, you got to exit, right? If you're trading the SPX with me, again, there's still 15 minutes to go, so anything can happen. I think it would happen on the call side versus the put side, but right now there's no real action needed. If you're still in your positions, a lot of you have wisely exited out of all of your trades. And that was originally our goal, was 1 to 2% a day, 5% a week. You guys are making 5 to 15% in a day. That's awesome. I'm up about at 7,200, I believe now, 7,300 on the day. I think I should finish somewhere around 7,500, is I believe what I'm going to end up at if I added up all of that extrinsic again. That was a big push going into the close. It'll be interesting to see what Monday looks like. There's our close on the day, guys. There's our we're done for the day. Darn good day, guys. Darn good day overall. Nice profit on the day. We will see you guys all Monday morning. Have a good weekend. Ended up about $7,200 on the day, guys. Not too shabby of a day.